PhiDX, why did you swap from the Obsidian to the Titan? Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. All right. So a few things. My Obsidian is taken apart right now, but I'll show it. Give me a sec. It's in pieces right now. But this is the stick I rocked for most of Tekken 7. I had a Victrix earlier, but it was not... I mean, I like the Victrix, but the Obsidian felt really good, and I got this custom panel made. It basically has bigger spacing, but all of the parts right now are in my Titan. I basically loved how thin it was, how lightweight it was. I didn't like the cable door. That was one big downside. And then the other big downside is it didn't have good padding on the bottom. So these are Amazon mouse pads that I glued to the bottom, right? But aside from that, like, I love the aesthetic. These are like custom side panels from ArcadeShock, my sponsor, you know, custom bottom panel, and then obviously the front. So I love this. I love the profile. The cable door, I never really closed all the way, right? Like, people complain about it breaking. I never closed it. I just left it kind of open. But I traveled with this for all of Tekken 7. And Tekken 8 is a different game. For me, I'm a very peripheral sensitive player. So if I play Smash Bros. Melee and Smash Bros. Ultimate on the same controller, I'll play it the same way. I'll try to wave dash and all this shit. So like, for me, changing peripherals is kind of part of adjusting to a new game. So when Tekken 8 came out and the movement was different, the gameplay is different, I'm not just backdashing all the time, I felt like I needed a change. At first, I tried the Obsidian too, but with the new panel I have on it, that custom ArcadeShock panel with more spacing, it's really loud. The lever was just so loud. So something I liked was the fact about this Titan. I liked how small it was. Okay, after going to tournaments for so long, I hated how heavy my backpack was all the time. I hated carrying around a giant stick. Like, the weight of an arcade stick is really nice because if you're doing lever movements, it's nice to have it stable, right? But I hated the giant stick. I hated the cable door. The Qanba Obsidian 2 has this screw-on side cable door. Let me show you. So I know this looks similar, but this is the Obsidian 2. It's taken apart again because I've been doing so much experimenting. I got a similar panel on the front, this ArcadeShock custom extended Vuelix panel. So the spacing between the lever and the buttons is farther than by default. Okay. The bottom panel here is custom and it's only just one plate. It's not the double plate that arcade sticks usually have. Okay. The point is it got really loud, but the main thing that really turned me off from this stick, if you look at this lap cam I have here, this is how you take out the cable. You have to unscrew this, which takes about 5 turns, if not more, and then lift this side door out, and then the cable goes in this compartment. And in this compartment, you have to wind the cable in very carefully all the way around. If you've ever gone to a tournament, when you're nervous after a match, win or lose, getting the cable in the compartment is the hardest thing on the planet, bro. Getting the cable in the planet. And look, I'm struggling right now. I'm in a calm, controlled environment in my house and I can't get this cable door in. And you might be thinking, why wrap it around? Just stuff it in. Well, if you stuff it in and screw it on top, you'll pinch the cable. So as much as I love the premium feel of this stick, the overall build quality is really nice, this cable door solution is kind of a deal breaker for me going to locals or going to offline majors. Right, and then you gotta put this on, screw it shut, and you're on your way. Okay? Kind of nasty. Positives about the stick, the buttons on top are a lot nicer, although because reset is this middle button in Tekken, if you're on PC, you can remap it to the touchpad, and I recommend that because it's so easy to hit the lock switch. And if you hit the lock switch, right? If you hit the lock switch, then this button stops responding. So half of my practice mode sessions, I'll reset over and over and over again, accidentally hit the lock switch, have to unlock it back and forth. These small things get annoying when you pay this much for an arcade stick, okay? The positives, though, looking in the back, a lot of space. It doesn't have that audio cable that the Obsidian 1 had, so taking the back on and off is so simple. This is the easiest stick to mod, probably, out of all of them. Here's the back panel here, and something I like about this as well, included foam padding, right? Included foam padding, or it's not even foam, sorry, it's like a rubberized padding all the way around. There's a porthole here. When you put in a joystick, say you close up the joystick and you want to take off the top, this porthole is a lifesaver, okay? If you're using a Korean lever, you probably can't close it, but even so, the odds of debris getting in the bottom is actually pretty low. So I really like this solution that they've come up with. And then finally, if you look at this hand cam here, it has a weight plate. So you can modify the weight of this stick. Again, the deal breaker for me was that it's kind of noisy with the Korean lever I use, so it's very niche. If you're a regular like stick user, that shouldn't be a problem. Very noisy, and this side cable door is just, it's just not it, man. But you asked about the Titan, so let's talk about the Titan a little bit, okay? Give me a sec. Put this down. Titan, why is this so nice? Well, the cable solution is simple. You grab the cable and you shove it in this hole. right here. This little drawer. Can you see that? Like, can you see my eye behind here? Look at that. Right? This, you just put it in there. And that's so simple. It's so simple. When you're stressed after a major, you just tie up the cable and shove it in. So nice, okay? So lightweight. This thing, lightweight enough to just throw in a regular backpack, okay? The only thing I don't like about... Oh, also, sorry. It has this spacing, the button spacing. Remember how I had those custom panels? It was to space out the button and levers more. But the Titan comes with this layout. The Titan, by default, has this huge spacing, which is really, really nice. It's more ergonomic because your shoulders are like this, right? You don't have to curl your shoulders in. You're not bending your wrists in different ways to make it all fit together. It's very, very natural. And I think this is really ergonomic. The last thing I don't like about this stick is getting in my specific Korean lever was really difficult. Let me show you what it looks like outside of the... This is the Knee Neo Premium. It's probably the thickest lever that exists, right? And the reason it's so thick is because it has a gate. Most Korean levers don't have a gate on the bottom. This one does. So it's extra thick. For reference, a normal Korean lever is about this thick, right? So this one is marginally thicker. It's about the same, but marginally thicker. Here it is side by side here, right? That bottom gate makes a bit of a difference, right? You probably can't tell visually here. Take my word for it. Now, the annoying part, the Titan is the perfect stick for me. It's too thin. See this here? It's too thin. If I want the weight plate, this also has the weight plate like the Obsidian does. If you want the weight plate in here, you have to, if you want to fit a Korean lever, you have to take the weight plate out. I wanted to keep the weight plate in. So my solution was really, really weird. My solution was I 3D print, you can mount the weight plate on the outside, okay? This is what I did. Weight plate on the outside, 3D printed a frame around it to keep it level, and then reapplied the rubber on the outside. I also had to scoot down the lever internally, like when you mount it with the screws, as far down as possible so it didn't scrape any of these edges. You can see it also has the porthole here. You can't close this hole if you use a Korean lever. But after all of those compromises, which I know seems like a lot, it's a lot of work, this is by far my favorite stick on the current market. I didn't want to have to go to this many lengths just to get this stick to work, but it's plug and play. The latency is very, very good. You can map the reset button here again to this touchpad using on the PC. This is the start button here. I love this arcade stick. I've had so much fun playing on it. It feels so stable in my lap, and the idea of just going to a major with a normal backpack, not a giant arcade stick backpack, or even Knee, best Tekken player in the world, is bringing it in a wheel bag, right? Arslan Ash, he's buff, you know, he's done a lot of lifting, so he carries his stick no problem, but a lot of people are tired of carrying heavy sticks. Rangchu, former TWT champion, has switched to a snack box, right? Lowhigh, former TWT champion, has a custom stick from ArcadeShock Indonesia, or ArcadeShock, Jesus. Arcade Stick Indonesia, AS Indo. Everybody's trying to switch to smaller profiles, as far as I know. And the Qanba Titan fits that for me, aside from these compromises. If they came out with a version 2, that would literally 2 millimeters of more length to accommodate a Korean lever, it's the perfect arcade stick. I don't know if they'll do it, but if they could do it, that'd be exactly the stick I want, man. This is so close to being perfect. This is so close to being perfect. I peeled this off for the demonstration. I have to hot glue it again. That's my take on the best I don't even remember the original question. I just went on a tangent about this arcade stick. I love this stick, man. God, I hate that I had to do so much shit to get it to work. It's so close to being good. I almost have it in me to message Qanba, like, can you just add 2 millimeters? They added 2 millimeters. There's no plexi. Yeah, it's just a matte black finish. So you'll probably have to apply a sticker or like a vinyl if you want. But this matte black, I've played on this for like a week. It's not like degrading that much. Yes, there's some fingerprint marks. I think I could wipe these off. Yeah, the reason I don't use any like USB pass-through or anything like that is I don't want to add any latency. I know it's like a bit of paranoia, but I find it just so much easier to have a easy USB solution that I can have faith in. And even though it's an attached cable, there's a screw here. Even though it's an attached cable, it's just, man, I want to ask Qanba, maybe, you know, maybe if we get popular enough, we can ask Qanba, can you guys make this just 2 millimeters bigger? That would be so sweet. Hope that was helpful. Hope you enjoyed this. Arcade stick market is crazy right now. Not the best options, but that's my take on it. Tournament style play, I would go with the Titan is pretty good. All right, peace out, y'all.